Hello and welcome. In academic writing, it's often the small things that make the biggest impact. Today, we're going to focus on one of the most important of those small things, the comma. It's just a tiny little mark, but it has so much power to make your writing stronger, clearer, and more professional. So let's get started. So here's our game plan for today. First up, we'll talk about why commas are so crucial in the first place. Then, we'll dive into 3 key rules: how to use them to add extra information, how to connect complete ideas, and how to separate descriptions. And we'll finish everything up with a simple checklist you can use for your own writing. All right, so first things first. Why should we even spend our time trying to master the comma? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. Using commas correctly is a huge part of communicating effectively in an academic setting. It's really not just about following some old grammar rules. It's about making sure your important ideas are understood exactly the way you want them to be. When you get your commas right, there are 3 big benefits. First, they help clarify your arguments by showing your reader how different parts of your sentences relate to each other. Second, correct comma use helps create that formal, professional tone that's expected at the university level. And maybe most importantly, they prevent misunderstandings, making sure your reader gets your point loud and clear. Okay, let's get into our first main rule. This one is all about using commas to tuck extra details into your sentences. You can think of it as a way to add helpful information that isn't totally essential to the main point, all without interrupting the flow of your sentence.
Now, the technical name for this is non-defining information. But really, the idea is very simple. If you can take a piece of information out of a sentence, and the main sentence still makes perfect sense on its own, then that information is non-defining. And the rule is you always put 1 comma before it and 1 comma after it. It's like you're building a little fence around that extra detail.
Let's look at an example to see what I mean. My professor, who teaches linguistics, assigns weekly readings. See that part in the middle, who teaches linguistics? That's the extra detail. If we take it out, the sentence is still, my professor assigns weekly readings. It's a perfect, complete sentence, so we know that the extra detail needs those 2 commas around it. Here's another one you'll see all the time in academic writing. The article, published in 2021, discusses academic integrity. Can you spot the extra information? Yep, it's published in 2021. The main sentence, the article discusses academic integrity, works just fine by itself. So that shows the rule in action again. The commas go right around that non-essential detail. Okay, one final example just to make sure this is crystal clear. English, a global academic language, is used in many universities. Here, the phrase a global academic language is just extra information describing English. The core sentence is simply English is used in many universities. And once again, we use those 2 commas to frame that extra piece of information. All right, let's move on to our second big rule. This one is about how you can connect 2 complete ideas, so 2 full sentences, to create 1 longer, more sophisticated sentence. This is a structure you're going to use a lot in your academic papers. This rule has 3 simple parts. First, you need 2 independent clauses, which is just another way of saying 2 complete sentences. Second, you join them together with a special connecting word, called a coordinating conjunction. And third, and this is the part people often forget, you have to place a comma before that connecting word. So what are these special connecting words? Well, here are the most common ones you'll run into: and, but, so, or, and yet. I'd really recommend getting familiar with these words. Whenever you see one of them in the middle of a sentence, it's a little signal that you should check if you need a comma. Let's see this rule in action. The research was challenging, but it was rewarding. You see, we have 2 complete ideas here. Idea number 1, the research was challenging. Idea number 2, it was rewarding. They are joined by the conjunction but, so we make sure to put that comma right before it. And here's one more. The deadline was extended, so students had more time. Our first complete sentence is, the deadline was extended. Our second complete sentence is, students had more time. We're connecting them with the word so, and that means the comma has to go right before it. It's a really consistent pattern. And that brings us to our third and final rule for today. This is all about using commas when you have more than 1 word describing the same thing. Usually, these are adjectives, but as you'll see, they can also be adverbs. The key here is that the descriptive words have to be equal. They both describe the same noun or verb in a similar way. Now, there's a fantastic simple test you can use to check if you need a comma. Just ask yourself 2 questions. First, can I switch their order, and does the sentence still sound right? And second, can I put the word and between them? If you can answer yes to both questions, then you need a comma. Let's try it out with this sentence. This study presents a clear, detailed explanation. The words clear and detailed both describe the noun explanation. So let's do our test. Can we switch them? A detailed, clear explanation? Yes, that sounds fine. Can we add and? A clear and detailed explanation? Yes, that works perfectly too. So we know we need that comma. And you know, this rule also works for adverbs, the words that describe verbs. Take a look at this one. The argument was carefully, logically developed. The words carefully and logically both describe how the argument was developed. Let's try our test. Logically, carefully developed? Yep, sounds good. Carefully and logically developed? That also works. Since both tests pass, we need the comma. Okay, we have covered 3 really important comma rules today. Now, to make things easier for you, let's put it all together into a simple checklist that you can use when you're editing your own papers. Here it is, your 3-point comma check. Number 1, look for any extra, non-essential information and make sure it has a comma on both sides. Number 2, if you connect 2 complete sentences with a word like and or so, check that you have a comma right before it. And number 3, if you're using 2 adjectives or adverbs to describe the same thing, use that and test to see if a comma is needed. And let's always remember why we're doing this. This isn't just about grammar for the sake of grammar. Using commas the right way makes your writing so much better. It improves the clarity of your ideas, it creates the right formal tone, and most importantly, it makes sure that your reader understands the valuable things you have to say. So, I want to leave you with this final thought to take with you. As you're working on your assignments this week, really think about these 3 rules. How can you use them not just to be correct, but to actually make your argument stronger and more convincing? Thank you so much for joining me.